Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is that you are listening, folks. Thank you very, very much for listening. Date today is the 2nd. It's the 2nd of January. The date is the 2nd, the month is January, and the year is 2026. Welcome to yet another edition of the Coping Hour, hosted by Nicholas Siegel, a.k.a. Moton Noah. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everybody, was safe and was, made responsible choices and yada, yada, yada. I guess really on a day like New Year's Eve, you are sort of allotted as many bad decisions as you'd like, as long as the final decision that you make on New Year's Eve is a good one, right? So basically, like going to bed. Is that a good rule of thumb? I guess technically, no, because if you did 6 bad things, if you made 6 bad decisions and they all involve like killing someone, if the last decision you make is a good one by just like sleeping off whatever whatever you're rolling off of, I guess not, I really just mean like, oh, maybe you had another one drink extra. You know what I mean? You realize you're able to realize you have that sort of out of body moment where you're like, oh, it's happening. I need to stop. I need to stop drinking. And the bad decision that you made, this is really what I'm talking about. It's like, what's one more? Now if somebody says like shots, you bust out the shots. Well, then it's over. And then it's unknowable what's going to happen, and you won't be in control of a decision, good or otherwise, bad or otherwise, synonyms or otherwise. It's going to happen one way or another. I've never really had one of those moments on New Year's Eve. I haven't had too many of those moments, period, in my life. We didn't even do anything that crazy on New Year's Eve. I was asleep at midnight. I was asleep. We do the thing where we're in Central Time. So when the ball drops in New York City, we're an hour behind it. Well, that's what we do. That's what we do. They finally did like a real whole big celebration here in Chicago for New Year's Eve. And I was excited to see it from our house if we would be able to see the fireworks that they were blowing off at the river. I was asleep. It's unknowable. It's unknowable if I was going to be able to see them because I was asleep. We drank a little bit of Prosecco, and then we watched the ball drop in New York, and then we were just kind of like, and we went to sleep. There's a non-zero chance, here's a little bit of commentary on New Year's Eve. There's a non-zero chance that in this episode, I just feel it flowing, in my veins a little bit. I just might be kind of like mean. Whatever it is that we end up talking about, I just feel like I might kind of just be a little bit, like I just might get kind of nasty. I don't know. I just feel it a little bit. I'm really going to try to hold myself accountable and like not do it. But I just feel it, you know what I mean? And so with that in mind, knowing that that's, a brief look ahead at today's episode of the Coping Hour, Nick gets a little bit mean. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But in case it does, here's something that I mean from the bottom of my heart, and it's nice. It's really nice. And I mean this. I really mean this. New Year's Eve is cool in the sense that it's like one of the only things, like how many things really are there in the world that everybody stops and does and celebrates together collectively at the exact same time? This event transcends anything. It transcends anything in the world. It's a moment that everybody experiences, and everybody celebrates, in most capacities, like the same way. That's fun. That's cool. Except for, uncontacted tribes and, in wherever. Like in Eritrea, what are they doing for New Year's Eve? I don't know. It's unknowable. It's unknowable. Do they know the exact second? Well, they have clocks. I mean, are they accurate? I don't know. It's unknowable. It's unknowable. But it is cool. It's cool, man. It's the what, you know what I mean? Like just as a species, it's kind of like the one thing. Like what else is there that on this scale everybody does? Not at the exact same time, but like, you know what I mean? When it's midnight for everybody in their respective time zone, they're all collectively observing the exact same moment. What else do we have like that? As a species, as like humanity, what else do we have like that? It's like, it's not Christmas. We just had Christmas. Well, not everybody's celebrating Christmas. Not everybody's doing it. To some people, that's just like another day. What was Christmas on a Thursday this year? A lot of people, that was just a Thursday. It had nothing to do with anything. What else is there? Like maybe, and you can't even say this, like, if there's like an eclipse, we just had one, almost 2 years ago, that was massive. It was massive. Well, the uneclipsable parts of the world, the unaffected parts of the world where it's not observable, they don't care. They don't care. Sure, maybe there are some people in those parts of the world that are watching live streams where it is happening at that exact precise moment. That's not the same thing, and not everybody's doing it. You know? That's really the only other thing. I was just thinking about that yesterday. I've never thought about it like that before. So that was fun. Even though, you know, like I say that, again, we observe it not even at the exact moment that it happens in the city that I live in. I think my brain is just, we're just on East Coast time forever when it comes to stuff like that. What's the extra hour, you know? Is it, if we lived on the West Coast and we were 3 hours behind East Coast, we might do the ball drop at 9 o'clock and then be like, great, and then just go to bed. We might call it there. Because Maddie kept talking about, like, yeah, you know, waiting for the ball drop. I didn't know if this year, because they're doing like a whole thing in Chicago this year, like Chance the rapper was performing. It was like a whole thing. Like, they really, for the first time, usually it's just kind of a local thing, but like this year they're like, no, let's put on like an actual performance, you know? I didn't know if she was talking about like, hey, let's for once stay up for that one, or if like we were just doing the New York thing again. I was like, okay, well, like, we're drinking a little bit of Prosecco. She had like a glass and a half. She didn't have that much. We didn't even collectively end up drinking that much Prosecco. I think I had like 2 beers. And it was like 10:45, right? So the New York ball drop is in 15 minutes. And she was like, oh, okay, like, I'll just wait till this is done to take my makeup off, since like it's about to happen. I go, oh, okay, so we're not staying up for the okay, cool. All right, I guess that's nice. I guess we get to go to bed. It's probably good that we did. Just been staying up so late lately. I've been dedicating too much time. I've been showing myself a little bit too much grace and dedicating a little bit too much time to myself at the end of the days recently, because then I just, like, it's okay if you do it once or twice and then, you know, you lose sleep. It's like, well, hey, you know, that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make if it means that I get to play video games for like an extra 30 minutes at night. Like, that's okay. Well, when you do that too much and it really adds up, like, I'm just zonked, man. I'm so tired. And so going to sleep at, you know, I'm spending a little bit too much time. It's only been like 5 fucking minutes. You can talk about New Year's a little bit, bro. You show yourself a little bit of grace. This is a moment where you can show yourself some grace. It's okay to talk a little bit about your life. It's okay, you know what I mean? It's okay to talk a little bit about, just sort of in general, to anybody. You know, anybody who's a little too I don't want to say like, doesn't it stink to be too self-aware? I don't want to, you know, not to sound like a hack, but it's in those moments, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, it is okay to talk about yourself a little bit. The only way that I ever stop myself when it comes to talking about myself is I never want to be the look at my kid guy. Although, what am I saying? Like, it's not like I really talk to anybody in person anyways. And if I did, it would probably end up being to somebody else who also has kids. And that's kind of like yeah, you can do it. Although, I don't know, man. I was around somebody within the last 2 weeks, I was around somebody who has like a new baby, and it's a beautiful baby, adorable baby, love that baby. But it did make me realize, oh, so there are still some people who, when all you want to talk about is your kid, even as somebody who now I get it, and I also kind of want to talk about my kid, and that's kind of all I want to talk about. There is still a degree of it to me that I'm like, wow, this is way too much. I don't want this at all. Oh, okay. It did also give me an interesting insight, you know, holding like a newer baby. I always, you know, Maddie and I always tell ourselves, like, if we could guarantee that we were having a girl, we would do it. We would do it. We would 100% do it. It was interesting. You know, you get baby fever all the time. You get caught in like in the exact right moment, and you're not thinking about all the bullshit that comes with it. And you're like, oh, I don't know, like, maybe we should like have another one. You know what I mean? And then you really think about it, and you're like, obviously fucking not. Well, getting to hold like a brand new baby, I love that baby again, beautiful baby, amazing. Like, you know, it's not about the baby, but like holding a brand new baby, I was expecting to have more baby fever than I did, and it was interesting to be holding like a, you know, not a newborn, but, you know, a pretty fresh baby, and not feeling, and well, actually rather directly feeling like, yeah, I can't fucking do this. I can't do this. Because, you know, you tell yourself like, well, it's not like they do anything. Like, they really don't do anything. You think to yourself like, well, we could have another one, because it's not like they do anything. Once you start to learn, you know, our son is going to turn 2 in April. So like, we're really in that phase where he's getting into everything. Like, he's wild. He's seriously wild. He runs around all day and he yells and he gets into everything and he throws shit around. He's a tornado. He's seriously insane. So like, thinking about, well, if this baby, a newborn, like, doesn't do anything, like, well, that's fine. It's not a problem. Yeah, but then holding a baby that like otherwise doesn't do anything and like needs you to be supporting it all the time. You're like, oh, that's right. You're doing nothing the whole time, but I also kind of need to be doing nothing with you. I forgot about that part of it. You know what I mean? That part of it does kind of make you go wild. So yeah, I'm good on that. I'm good on that right now. I'm good on that. You know, Maddie's in a really good spot right now with her career. I don't think, and where she sort of wants to, you know, in a, she's got big ambitions for this year, and I don't think we need that. I don't think we need another kid right now. That's not going to be in the cards for 2026. Yeah, I've been asking her all day, like, you know, what are some things that you want us to do this year, and like, you know, what's something you want us to do for the first time this year? It's crazy, man. You get it, whatever it is. Like for me, it was, you know, becoming a dad, but it doesn't have to be a kid for that. That was just my vehicle. You know, it's crazy. Whatever it is for you out there, man, you just find a reason where you're like, oh, this is what I'm here for. Got it. This is why I'm on this planet. Great. Got it. Great. And then you just look at the world completely differently. I've never given a shit in the past ever in my life. Oh, it's something new you want to try this year. I don't fucking care. I don't care about any of this. I don't care. But now I do, you know? It's nice to care about Christmas again. It's nice to have a little bit extra juice for that, you know? That one's easier to correlate to having a kid, though, you know what I mean? Because then you just get to, you know, experience. But, like, I care about New Year's, and I care about experiencing new things this year because I want to do that with my kid. Well, again, that's, I guess, it's sort of how am I supposed to make this about, how am I supposed to not make this about my kid? I said I didn't want to make this about my, well, I don't know, man. I'm excited. It's, wow. I don't know the last time I felt that, you know, you turn the page on the year. I don't know the last time that I was like, cool, you know, in the corniest way possible. And I mean that in the most hallmark way possible. I'm like, wow, 2026. And that's the New Year's commentary, folks. Hope everybody have fun. It's cool that we all celebrate it, like collectively. It's the one thing that we as the globe, as a species, that we all do. I think that's cool. So there's your positivity for today. There's your positivity. To not switch to, you know, not like negativity. You want to do a little bit of ball. I don't know how much ball we're going to do in this episode. We got some emails that I want to read, but they're not about ball, though, right? So let's do a little bit of ball to start the new year. Was just watching that Pistons Heat game. It's still happening while I'm taping this. Watching that Pistons Heat game. We haven't talked about the Pistons in a little bit. I should say maybe at the top of this. This West Coast trip that Detroit just came back from. I missed every single game. I know nothing about any of the games that happened. Not that I don't know anything about any of the games that happened. But I watched none of them because it's mainly just this. We were home. I was in Michigan. I was at the in-laws, like with games. Just when you're on East Coast time and they're playing on the West Coast, well, when they're not starting until 9 or 10 o'clock, it's like, all right, well, I'm not watching these games. By that point, I'm either going to sleep or I'm 6:30 Shirley's in, and I'm not watching hoops, bro. You know what I mean? I'm on vacation when I'm in Michigan. Like it's fine. I don't need to watch these games. What did we miss? There was a couple things that I'm gonna blank on or just like straight up not mention. That Laker game. It sounds like it stinks that I didn't get to watch that Laker game. It sounds like that was a good one. Pistons did end up winning. But I got to see, that's right, I did get to see a couple highlights from that game. And then just otherwise, the Lakers the last like month, that defense is hilarious. That defense is shocking. You know, this like Darth JJ that's emerged. Like JJ Redick like kept it real and was mad last year. Like we saw not like unhinged JJ Redick. Last year was his first year, right? Like he didn't get like, he was mad. Like he's an animated guy. He wears it on his sleeve. When he's upset, you're going to know he's upset. But this is different. What we're seeing from JJ Redick this season is different. You know, him being like, what was the quote that just came out? Him being like, oh, I'm not doing another 56 games of this, and we're going to have a team meeting, and it's going to get uncomfortable, and blah, 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 and all this stuff. He's like, I can't do this. He was like, this team stinks. This team stinks on ice. They're a bunch of losers. We can't keep playing like this. I can't do this, if we will. It's funny. It's funny to see it. What's the funniest scenario? I mean, this would never in 100 million billion bajillion years happen. This would never happen. But the funniest scenario is that he just he gives up and he walks away. He quits on the Lakers. You know, but that wouldn't happen. I think that would destroy. Could you imagine what that would do? Ooh, I don't know. Let's unpack this for a second. Let's see where we can go with this. Whose reputation does it... There's just too many variables here, man. Whose reputation does it damage more if JJ Redick walks away from the Lakers? You can't even... No, this is... how do you throw LeBron in here? And how does... I don't mean to do that. How does it affect LeBron's legacy? It wouldn't. It wouldn't matter. Nothing that happens at this point in LeBron's career matters at all. I don't really think, for better or for worse. If anything, for better. Something like him breaking Kareem's record a year or two, was it 2 years ago at this point? Yeah, it was about 2 years ago at this point. He breaks the scoring record. Like, that matters, like, just for historical context, like, just, collecting all these records like they're damn Infinity Stones. Like, that's cool. Nothing that happens at this point will affect him at all. I don't know, one thing that could, not in a real way, but in a way that, how people be. If he got traded, I think people would use that against him, for sure. However, I don't think he would end up, if he goes to the Cavs for like one more year, like however this ends up panning out, right? I don't think, because he opted in this year, isn't he unrestricted going into the summer? However it ends up playing out, right? If he has a year left, which I don't think he does, but let's say he does, and a trade has to be facilitated for him to go somewhere else. I mean, I don't know. I just think people would strip that of its context. I just think the old heads would finally have something after a few years of like not really having anything on LeBron. It's been a while since there's been something real on that you've been able to use to bash LeBron. Is that true? There's no way that that's true. Like something real. I mean, unless you're going to say the stuff about Bronny, which anything you're going to say is just going to come off as weird. So but there's got to be something else. Like, since he's got to the Lakers, like, the Mickey Mouse ring, as it were. But that's not real, right? But that's another thing that you're not going to be able to earnestly say to anybody. I don't think, this is hostile, man, but let's chamber this. No, let's unchamber this, actually. I'm going to shoot this bullet. Is that chambered or unchambered? If it's chambered right now, it's about to be unchambered because I'm about to fire this motherfucking 5.56, all right? I think anybody who legitimately believes the Mickey Mouse shit is a little baby. I think you're a little baby. I don't think it matters. I think that they were playing in the bubble. I don't think it matters. I just think they won a championship and that's it. I think whoever won that championship, people were going to say this shit, but it really doesn't help that it was the Lakers, and it really doesn't help that it was LeBron, because then it just made people want to, you know what I mean? But like, imagine was it the Suns that went like 8-0, right? Isn't that what it was? And that was kind of like wow, Phoenix has life for the first time in like 20 years. Well, it wasn't that long, but like 15 years. It wasn't even that long. But like for the first time in a while, like Phoenix has life. I think that's what it was, right? They went 8-0 in the bubble, and there's that really funny picture of Devin Booker like laying on the ground. Well, okay, all right. So and then they went and got Chris Paul, and the rest is history, right? Because that was real in the bubble. That was real. Was TJ Warren on the Suns or on the Pacers of the bubble? TJ Warren in the bubble was a thing, but I don't remember if he was on the Suns or the Pacers. I think he might have been on the Suns, actually. Then the Pacers got him because of bubble TJ Warren. I might have that completely wrong. I have no idea. But imagine that Phoenix team won in the bubble. If they made the playoffs, which they didn't end up doing. No, they didn't. And then they went 8-0 and they didn't end up making the playoffs. I think that's how it went. Imagine if they did and they ended up winning the finals. Would people have still done Mickey Mouse shit with them? I mean, would it have mattered who they beat? Would that have mattered? If that Suns team beat the Jimmy Butler Heat, would people have done the Mickey Mouse shit? Yeah, man. If a team that had its back up against the wall and like wasn't gonna make the playoffs the way that Phoenix did, and then just rattled off 100 wins in a row, and as like the biggest underdog in the history of the world, and were able to pull that comeback off, or like that come from behind, or whatever, the underdog story off, because they were playing in fucking Disney World, bro, with a virtual Zoom crowd. I don't know. Wait, I don't know what would be, because like it's crazy. What I'm saying is crazy. The truth is that they would have won a championship, and the pages of NBA history would have read Phoenix Suns, 2020 champions, and that's it. Point blank period. They're NBA champions. But, like, you have to look at this through the lens of, like, the way that the internet talks about shit. You know what I mean? And that's crazy. Would they have, well, they wouldn't have gotten as much shit as these Lakers, man. And this isn't supposed to, I just realized, I just heard myself for the first time. I don't give a shit about this at all. I don't care that people think the Lakers are babies for winning this championship. You know, Mickey Mouse shit. I don't really care one way or another. Well, despite the fact that I very aggressively called people babies. How do I say this? I'm not trying to cape for the Lakers. I just, like, it just stinks that they're the ones that won the championship and I have to, you know what I mean? Also because it's LeBron. I really have no emotional attachment to this LeBron title at all. It makes no difference to me that he won that ring. It, to me, in like his GOAT rank, it means nothing. It means nothing. If he didn't win that championship, I still would be like, yeah, he's the greatest player of all time. I don't give a shit. It's cool that he did. You want me to say something so friggin' gross, man? I don't think I'm going to believe this. This is crazy. This is crazy. I don't mean this. I'm going to say it. I don't believe, there's no way I believe that this is true. There's no way I believe this, what I'm about to say is true. But I have to say it to find out. The scoring title, the scoring record, all-time scoring title means more to me than that 2020 championship. Wait. Whoa. Flag on the play. VAR. The Scooby-Doo mask comes off. It was me the entire time who was devaluing the bubble championship. Because if I say that, no. You're right. On the surface, you could say that, and it would sound like I'm backed into a corner, and I'm like, shit, I contradicted myself. No, because that's not why I value it less. It's because it was the bubble. I value it less because anything that LeBron has done in his Lakers career, I don't care about. Because I'm still just like, I just think it stinks that he went there. I've always hated that he went there. He can be my GOAT. He can be my king. He can be my whatever. I would polish his shoes with my. I'm looking at my wallet. I'm looking for objects around the. I got like, what is this, concealer? I don't know what this is. I got a Tom Ford sunglasses. I got a wallet, a pen. I'd carry his water. I'd do anything for LeBron, man. But I just think it stinks that he went to Los Angeles. I think it stinks that he was like, I'm going to go be a billionaire, and I'm going to go do TV, and I'm going to go do Space Jam 2, and I'm going to go do Trainwreck. Well, Trainwreck happened when he was in like, I think it was like maybe the transition from Miami to Cleveland if he wasn't just only in Miami at the time. So that doesn't count. You know, I'm gonna go start this media empire with Uninterrupted and Maverick Carter, and like, you know, we're gonna do this agency with Rich Paul and like, okay, the Clutch Mafia, and like, oh, it's not called Clutch Mafia, but you know what I mean. And like, I get it from like he just wanted to like plan his business roots in Los Angeles, and I understand why he went to the Lakers, but I just think it has always stunk, and that's why I don't care that they won in the bubble. You know, I'm not like, I think I don't know, like the Lakers winning a championship period, like even if LeBron wasn't associated with it, I don't care about that. I'm not like, boo, you know, the way that like if the Patriots win a Super Bowl or like, you know, or if the Chiefs win a Super Bowl right now is a better example. If the Dodgers win a World Series, you know, you're supposed to hate these teams. The Yankees win a World Series, whatever it is, right? I don't care if this, I don't care about the Lakers. I never have. And so, but I don't fucking hate them. You know, I don't hate them. So I don't know. What was this? What the fuck were we even talking about here? This was supposed to be about the Pistons. Go on a whole damn thing. I go on a whole thing where I'm defending LeBron and I'm defending his rings, or rather just kind of talk about how much I don't care about them. Maybe, I don't know. Let's steer this back in the direction of the Pistons. Yeah, they go on this West Coast trip, man. And you know, they play the Lakers and they play the Clippers too. I tell you what, it's fun to see. It's always nice to see in these last 5 years when Kawhi shows up, like bolded italicized underlined. He shows up. It's always like, nice. There he is. There's Kawhi. Sometimes if you're lucky enough, he'll do it for like 2 weeks at a time. You know, you'll see a wild, super sick, fucking crazy style Kawhi appear, and he'll just give your team 50. He'll give your team 56 points. Okay. Pistons lost that one to the Clippers. That stinks. Otherwise, like a fine West Coast trip from the Pistons. I don't know. They come back to Detroit. We got Headband Cade. We got Braid Cunningham. I'm trying to think what the easiest way to do this is going to be. What if I just look up the Pistons roster and I go, because it's just been a little bit. I gave you guys a pretty decent break, I think, from talking about the Pistons. Because at some point, you just kind of start saying the same thing over and over. You just need to give the season some time to breathe. Well, we're at that point in the season, I think, where, January is really when we start to hit okay, all right, the rust starts to really show. The season, we're really in full swing at this point, and we know what teams are. It's not that, the identity of teams, well, how do I say this? Certain teams will rise and some teams will have a collapse over the next couple of months as we close the regular season. But for the most part right now, the identity of teams, we know who the quote unquote good teams are and who the bad teams are, and the hierarchy, the food chain of the NBA. Got it. At this point in the season, got it. We're a third of the way through. Got it. Okay. So now we really start to hit the really gross part of the year. And I think at this point, we know that the Pistons are good, right? And so we gave them some time to breathe, and we let them find out that we let ourselves, find out and convince ourselves that they are actually good. And again, it didn't help that, I went a week and a half. They played this, this span of games over however long on the West Coast that I really just wasn't able to watch them. So I was watching this game against the Heat, and why don't I go up and down the roster really quick? And we just talk about some of these guys. So look, Cade, state of the address. Pistons in full swing. Thoughts, feelings, questions, concerns? Let's talk about it, folks. Cade, yeah, we don't even need to spend that much time on him because, come on, bro. He's the best guard in the NBA right now. He's the best guard in the league. I never care. I never, ever, 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 ever in my life have cared about who starts in the All-Star game. I think getting mad about that is annoying because it's well, whoever you're mad about is probably going to get in as a reserve. And there's not really a difference. You get the same star on Basketball Reference, whether you were a starter or otherwise. So it doesn't really matter. But I think this year, Cade's got to start. I just think he's got to start this year. The Pistons play a big game against the Knicks on, is that Monday that they play against the Knicks? Tuesday maybe? Monday or Tuesday? Coming up soon, the Pistons play a game against the Knicks at home, I believe. Big game. Big litmus test there. Perfect mid-season challenge. Early season challenge. Perfect for that. Also good for all-star voting. Jalen Brunson versus Cade. Cade's the best. He's literally the best player. There's nothing else. Just he's the best player in the fucking world, right? He's not the best player in the world. He's not, chill out. He's not the best player in the world. He's really good this year, though. He's really, really special. Jalen Duren. Yeah, it's really nice when you as a fan, you watch this happen to other teams and it finally happens to you, and boy, oh boy, does it pay off. You watch a guy in the NBA or you watch a team and you're like, man, if only they could go get this guy, this type of guy. And sometimes that type of guy does exist and is actually available. And then it just so happens that the season starts and a guy that you weren't really expecting to turn into the exact guy that you needed all along was already on your team. We're talking about Jalen Duren here, ladies and gentlemen. His transformation this season has been shocking, man. You watch some of these plays that he makes. Look, he's not a playmaking center. That's not the first, second, third, fourth, or maybe even fifth thing that you would really talk about if you start to go down the laundry list of awesome shit about Jalen Duren. You wouldn't really talk about his playmaking. I don't know, man. He's not Jokic and he's not Şengün. He's not Sabonis. I don't want to say he's like Bam. Bam is, I think Bam is sort of in the Sabonis tier. Bam's a really good passer, man. I don't really know who I'd liken it to. Jalen Duren sometimes will bust some shit out, bro. He did one today. I don't even know how to describe what he did. It was in the first half against Miami where he just kind of did a 360, one-handed kind of I really don't know how to describe it. Just he was on the low block and he just did it behind him out in the corner to Ron Holland, I think. And it was sick. It was awesome. I just watch him play. I think even the takes that he has around the rim that don't fall. I don't know. He's got moves in the paint. He'll kind of dip his shoulder and I don't know, he'll move his hips around and he'll kind of do a little hipsy-do shake, little fucking 180, little hook shot. I don't know. He does fun stuff. And even though it doesn't go in, I'm I like that you're trying this. I like that you're trying this out. Look, by the time I started taping this, the Pistons were getting the absolute poop kicked out of them. So I don't know, how things are going. But, for the most part, Jalen Duren, that's another guy who's going to be an all-star this year. It's a non-zero chance he ends up being all-NBA. So, nothing but good things to say about him. Javonte Green, good Piston. That's just a good Piston. That's a guy who was like bred to be a Piston. He plays really, really hard. That's it. I really like Javonte Green. Tobias Harris, hurt a lot. He's out a lot. Tobias Harris doesn't play that much, it seems. Seems these days Tobias Harris would rather be on the bench. When he does play, what's funny is so there's another guy on this list. We'll just call him out now. Not calling him out. I'm not going to say anything mean. Karis LeVert. That's another guy is out a lot. Just observationally, he's not playing in the games that often. Well, with Tobias, it's out or injured, parenthetically fine. Parenthetically, whatever, that's fine. Because when you do play, I know you'll give me something, Karis LeVert, out / injured, parenthetically, derogatory. Because I'm just not too sure, man. He misses a lot of games. I just think he misses a lot of games. And then when he does play, he's had some good ones. If I pulled up his basketball reference and I looked at specific games, I could maybe talk in more detail about this. He's had good games this year, for sure. For sure. But I also think he's had maybe an equal number that you kind of completely forget that he's in the fucking game and to begin with. So, is that kind of the experience with him? Yes, it always has been, literally forever, no matter where he has played since the beginning of his career. Since Michigan, that's how he's been forever. But I'm also the same guy that since his Brooklyn days, he signed a 3-year, $52.5 million contract. And since he inked that deal, I've wanted the Pistons to have him on that contract since then. And that was in 2019 that he signed that deal, right? So for a long time, I've wanted Karis on my team, and I just got to eat it, right? Now, Tobias is another guy that we were very happy. I think most fans with adult-sized brains, properly developed brains, were really excited to have Tobias Harris back on the team. And again, I just think when he does play, I just think he's a consummate professional. I just think he fits really well in the team. I think it stinks to some degree that if the Pistons do end up wanting to go get a bigger fish out there, they want to, get involved in the trade market. Tobias is gone. Tobias is gone. It's that's the one guarantee. And then the other guarantee isn't even a specific player. It's just that your young guys are going to get fucking decimated, raked over the coals. All these guys are going to be gone. It's just a matter of who. It's just the fact of it is true. It's just a matter of, who it's going to be. Tobias is gone no matter what, because you got to make that money work, right? There's a non-zero chance that Stu gets thrown in there too. Actually, the Venn diagram crosses with both of those categories, right? Money to make it work, and then also just as a young guy. Now, you can't trade both of them. If both of those guys are in the deal, I think all bets are off. There's that whoever you're bringing in, it just is the juice is not going to be worth a squeeze, right? Of course, unless it's fucking Anthony Edwards or something, but that's not going to happen. It would just stink, I think, for the culture of the team if you lost even Tobias Harris, but you would have to if there's somebody else that you would be bringing in. The next guy, Ron Holland. We you talk about guys who this season, if the Pistons want to do anything, well, you're looking at him. Man, I feel really bad. I like him a lot, but it is interesting. We're having this conversation right now about the Pistons, maybe doing something before the deadline. Well, if they got to move one of these young guys, you watch these games, and I don't. There's just not a nice way to say this. I don't need to qualify this shit. I love all these players. Look, it's clear that Ron Holland is the most expendable out of all of them. I mean, obviously Cade's not in this. Ivy, who we haven't talked about yet, but we will momentarily. You got Ivy. Yeah, he's in there. But, Duren is probably up there with Cade at this point. Absolutely not. Unless you're bringing in fucking Giannis. Seriously, I think that's it. Giannis, or I don't even think you'd do it for Book. That money that Book makes is just insane. That ship has sailed. It's over. There's no way. Unless you're just waiting for a buyout, there's literally no shot. That the Book thing is over. I don't know. Okay, unless you're getting Giannis, Duren is staying on the team. Talk about Ron Holland. We talk about Asar. Yeah, man. I mean, how can it be him? How can it be him? Maybe if you're bringing in Trey Murphy, but that's going to stink. If it's not him, then it's got to be Stu. If it's not Stu, then it's got to be Sasser. You want to do the Sasser thing? We could do the Sasser thing. People were real quick to say, we might have said it on this show. I'd be nervous to check the tape because there's a non-zero chance I may have said something like this. I'm damn sure I thought of it. Maybe even send some text about it. You know, we were so quick at the beginning of the season to say, oh, this Marcus Sasser guy, he's hurt a lot. He's hurt a lot. Wow, he's missing a lot of time to start the season. He's just gone. And in the meantime, this Dennis Jenkins character is supplementing those Marcus Sasser minutes pretty well, like shockingly well. Who is this guy? Where did he come from? And is he stealing Marcus Sasser's job right before our eyes? Wrong. It's fiction. You made it up, you fucking fool. You made it up. You're wrong. Back of the line, Buster. No, Marcus Sasser is still sweet. He's still a bucket. He gets like old school buckets too. And I don't even know how to articulate it. I don't even know how to describe. He just had one today. You know, it was a baseline throw in off of like a timeout, I think, or maybe off of a foul. I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was a foul under the basket. I don't remember what it was. And he just had one, I don't know, from like 13 feet. He just like made a little bit of space. I don't know how to describe it, but it was a bucket that I've seen play out in like middle school basketball games like 100 times. I don't really know how to describe it. But I just we all like Marcus Sasser's game, you know. Another guy that we got to talk about. We just said we would. Let's do the Jaden Ivey thing, folks. Let's do the Jaden Ivey thing. I picked a bad time to send a really mean text about him tonight. I'll tell you that. We've all sort of been patiently, and I'll talk a little bit about the text in just a second. We've all kind of been patiently waiting for this like Jaden Ivey like minutes restriction thing to go away, for him to get out of like minutes restriction jail. Maybe it's the right thing to do. I mean, he just played, was at one of the Los Angeles games, whether it was the Clippers or the Lakers. I think it was the Clipper game that he played almost like 30 damn minutes, which is easily the most that he's played in the, what is he at, like 20 games maybe for this season so far. That 30 minutes that he played in Los Angeles was easily the most that he's done so far. And, you know, otherwise, there are some games where he might only play 10 minutes. That's been interesting to monitor because, like, I don't know. He's not getting a ton of shots up. But when he is, like, he's efficient, and B, he's shooting well. You know, two different things. This isn't even new, though. You know, this goes back like a calendar year. Like, if you go 365 days ago before Jaden Ivey got hurt, he's shooting the ball really, really well. Like, his three ball was nice. So here's the problem, right? Is I sent a text earlier, despite the fact that Jaden Ivey doesn't play a ton, and if you're just box score watching him, like, you're not going to think he's playing well. I mean, I guess he is. He is, though, man. I do think he is playing well. But despite that, I think all of the shit that he does well happens when I'm not watching the game. I swear to God, every single night. Every single night. And all of the doofus bullshit that he does is happening when I'm dialed. I don't know if I'm looking at my phone, if I'm changing my kid's diaper, if I'm letting the dog out, I don't know what I'm doing. If I'm juggling I don't know what I'm doing. That every time Jaden Ivey is doing good shit on the floor, I'm not watching. So I text my brother during this Pistons Heat game. I go, dog, this guy doesn't do anything. I text him, Ivey doesn't do anything, man. He doesn't do fucking anything. And it was immediately after that. He's diving on the floor for a loose ball, and he, you know, disrupts a possession for Miami, and it ends up leading to a shot clock violation. Simone Fontecchio, you know, he can't get the shot off, and it was because it was a hustle play from Jaden Ivey. It's the little things that don't show up in the box score. There it is. You know, there it is. And then there's a sequence where, again, I think it was Fontecchio. He goes to the basket, and was it Asar goes up for the block, and rebound goes to Cade, and Cade does a little mini outlet to Jaden Ivey, and then from half court, Ivey does a lob to Dern at the basket, and boom, oop that shit. A little connector piece right there. You know what I mean? Like, he's just, I guess that does show up in the box score. He gets the assist. It's Cade that gets the hockey assist, you know. Everybody got something in the box score on that sequence. Asar got a block. Ivey got an assist. Dern got the points. Cade didn't get anything. He just got the hockey assist. So really the point should be about Cade here. He's just been the best. No, man, he's good, man. I think. I don't know. I really don't know. Everybody loves him. Everybody loves him. Everybody, says the nicest stuff about this guy. Everybody talks about how, meticulous he is in his craft and his preparation and in his approach to the game. How seriously he takes basketball and his dedication to just like being the best. Everybody says the craziest and nicest stuff about him. Seriously. So I just feel like I'm taking crazy pills whenever I watch him play, and I feel none of it. When like I watch this guy, I don't know, like he had a sequence in the second quarter where he had the ball like from just like a step or two inside the 3-point line. I don't know. He made a move and created some separation and, had a step back look from 3 just from right above the break. And I was like, oh, that's a nice move. But like, I talk about the shooting at the beginning of this. Like, wow, he's actually shooting well. This is what I'm saying. Like, it's like, wow, he actually has a nice move and he creates some separation. And then like, but like while he's shooting it, I'm like, this is going to be the loudest clank I've ever, like, this is a brick. I know he's not going to hit this shit. But if you're looking at his numbers, it's like, well, he's probably going to hit it. I think even his per 36 numbers, you're like, oh no, this is just a good basketball player. Everything about what your eyes tell you when you watch him indicates a guy that, like, I guess is good. A guy who it's really important for him to shoot well because of how much of his game is around the rim. Like if he can't play inside, like who's a massive team that he's not going to be able to do that against? Oklahoma City is a massive team. Houston is a massive team. Is Denver? I don't know. What's the average height for? I don't know enough about Denver. I don't know. I have no idea. What's the average height for Denver? What's the team that I'm not thinking of? Like, do I think? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do about this Ivey guy, man. In my own head. Because again, everybody, I don't want to say like I feel gaslit when I watch him, but I just watch a guy who I still think does the same dumb shit with the ball that he did in his rookie year that he did at Purdue. Which is like, yeah, bro, you put on a lot of muscle, and I think I think he absorbs contact just better and better and better every single time, he goes to the cup. But I just think he has no damn plan every time he does. And I just think the way that he plays is clunky. And I just think, like, the Pistons have an opportunity. I texted my brother this, dude. I don't know. I was like, do you remember when the Warriors had an opportunity to trade Klay Thompson? This was the summer of 2014. So this was the 14-15 season. This was the summer of 2014. Or what it have been? Yeah, that is what it would have been. Summer of 2014. Rumors are circulating that the Warriors are going to trade Klay Thompson and Harrison Barnes to Minnesota for Kevin Love and Kevin Martin. Kevin Martin was the precursor to Morey ball and the way that James Harden played in Houston. Kevin Martin was the one that it was the light bulb moment for Daryl Morey. 3-pointers and free throws. Kevin Martin was the essentially the architect or the patient zero of that whole thing. And that was when Morey had the light bulb moment, the idea to go get Harden and have him play the way that Kevin Martin plays in Houston. Right? So the Warriors were going to trade Klay Thompson and Harrison Barnes in the summer of 2014 for Kevin Love and for Kevin Martin. By the way, I say all that nice shit about Kevin Martin. Kevin Love was the Kevin Love sweepstakes was like a whole, oh my God, it was like a whole damn, you could get a whole documentary of that shit, The Kevin Love sweepstakes, we now know, obviously, he ended up going to Cleveland in the Andrew Wiggins trade and blah, blah, blah. And for a month, it was like, hey, we know that he's going to go to Cleveland. We just have to wait for this deadline to approach where Wiggins can actually get traded or some bullshit like that, some 2K ass rule like that. The Warriors decided not to do it, very famously. Klay Thompson, was on the team that, was on the team for their whole dynasty. And Harrison Barnes was for a couple of years too. No, I don't know. They stuck to their guns, and within 12 months of being like, no, actually, we don't want to do this, Klay Thompson helped them win a championship. And then the year after that, they went 73-9. And then the year after that, they won a championship. And then the year after that, they won a championship. And then 3 years later, they won another championship, And they stuck to their guns, and they kept their guy. I just wonder if the Pistons, you look at all these guys, all these players around the NBA right now. You look at like a Lauri Markkanen, you look at a Trey Murphy, you look at, name a guy, throw a dart at a board. Like, name a guy, Devin Booker. I don't know. Name a fucking guy. Giannis, name a fucking guy. Well, what team is primed to make one of those moves? It's Detroit. And so I don't know. Golden State was not this sleeping giant when it happened. When Golden State happened, it fucking shocked people. It shocked people. They had spent a few years kind of like battling with the Clippers. That rivalry got super heated. That was kind of it. There wasn't really, and then it just kind of happened. And so to speak optimistically about Jaden Ivey, maybe the right thing to do, maybe history tells us it's a good idea to stick to your guns. Perhaps it is. I don't know. I really trust Trajan Langdon, brother. I really, for real, do. I really do. Let's do some emails, though, folks. copinghoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically. Email available in the description, wherever it is that you listen to this program. Let's do some life problems. Like once or twice, if this is the email that I'm thinking that it is, like once every like 30 to 45 days, we like to do kind of like roughly the same email. A lot of you guys email in all the time about, being stuck in like an emotional or creative rut or something. And, I don't want to say, it's not like it's not that, all those emails are, equally important, but we can't do them in every fucking episode. We can't do it all the time. So now, every now and then, again, if this is the email that I'm thinking that it is, if it's something completely different, we'll see, but I'm just going by the subject line. I think this is what I was going for. Let's do some life stuff. Let's do some happy, positive vibes, life stuff, to start the new year. What do you guys think? This one comes into us from Jackson. Jackson, what's up, brother? Welcome back to the show, maybe. There's 100 Jacksons that listen, brother. It's unknowable. I'm sorry. Subject line, career change from Coach. Hello, this probably seems a bit manic, seeing how my last email was me on some bullshit with the holidays coming and going. See, sometimes you guys do this. I mean this with the most... sometimes you guys reference previous emails. I don't, really be knowing the full history of every single email that every one of you guys send in. So it's okay if you're manic here. I don't remember. Maybe if you explain it, I'll remember. Let's, right. I know what this is. I see some information up in your head. Sometimes, Nick, maybe you should just read the damn thing and the background stuff doesn't actually matter. And you should, okay. All right. He's apologizing for some potential mania. This is back to the email. I work for a Division I basketball team and I really enjoy it. I find myself a better person and from a self-improvement standpoint. However, the job takes no less than 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Some weeks I'm working in excess of 100 hours when accounting for travel. And honestly, I would really just enjoy it more, a more normal schedule and to be able to do things. I've been thinking about career paths and realized I don't even know what quote-unquote normal people even do. I think I could become a TikTok/Twitter/newsletter guy who just chops basketball all day because I've submerged myself into this world for the better part of a decade now. However, I struggle deeply with my voice/appearance. Furthermore, I don't want to just keep pushing AI slop on these social media platforms because there is way too much as is. Any advice on what I should do? Yeah, we'll end it there. Why the fuck do you have to post AI? Don't post AI then. Don't post AI. What? Can I read that again? Maybe let me give you the benefit of the doubt, and I assume that I read that wrong. And you use, because here's what I heard you say when I just read that out loud. An otherwise very relatable and like career path. Oh, what do even adults do anymore? No, it's very real. What you're experiencing is really, this is a real, you know what I mean? At its core, this is a real and authentic raw email, right? But you slipped something in here at the end. So are you saying, I really want to post on the internet, but there's already too much AI and I can't post more? Then don't post AI, brother. So let's read it again, okay? You said, I think I could become a TikTok, Twitter/newsletter guy who just chops basketball all day because I've submerged myself into this world for the better part of a decade now. However, I struggle deeply with my voice and appearance. Again, very real. Breaking it is very real. I feel you, and we'll unpack that a little bit. So let's get back to it. You say, furthermore, I really don't want to just keep pushing AI slop on these social media platforms because there's way too much as is. Yeah, goddamn, bro, then don't. What? Who's making you post AI? Who in your life is making, and you can send this, and I won't read it on the show, bro, but you can tell me who's making you post AI. What boomer in your life is fucking making you post AI that you feel like that's the only way that you can post on the internet? I have to be misunderstanding here. There has to be some fundamental misunderstanding happening between you and me. Because why do you have to post AI? Then don't. Struggling with your voice and your appearance. Yeah, that's super real. Super real. Why do you think I wear sunglasses? If you watch this show, hey, wasn't it kind of weird that one day I just started wearing sunglasses? My grandma certainly thinks that it is. Yeah. Yeah. You think I wear a hat because I have a sick hat collection? I do. I do. Why do you think I do? Why do you think I do? You know? That's fine. Like, that's cool. You don't have to, like, and your voice. Well, that stinks for your voice. You know, well, I don't mean it like that. You hate your voice? Well, that stinks for your voice. No, man. No. But just make a Substack or something. But I get it. If you just mean it in the sense that, you know, everybody, they hear their voice on like a video or something and they're just like, oh my God, like I can't listen to myself. Like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. At this point, I'm so desensitized to it. I don't, my voice on camera sounds the exact same as it does in my, like, at this point, it's what it is to me. But that's real. Like, if that's all that it is, that's real. Everybody feels that, dude. I'm not trying to like minimize your problems and be like, bitch, like everybody feels this. No, I just want you to feel like this is real. What you're talking about is real. By the way, you don't have to post AI. You can post whatever you want anonymously and not show your face, and you don't have to record your voice on anything. You can and still not post AI. You don't have to. You don't have to. You know, if you're gonna make a Substack just to like get shit from ChatGPT, pick a different dream. Pick a different dream. I'll say this. Let's keep this positive, dude. It's the beginning of the new year. Don't tell somebody to fucking do something mean to themselves and harmful to themselves just because they want to use. Well, yeah, actually, I would say that if you had a Substack and you were charging people money to subscribe to your Substack, and you were just posting ChatGPT like prompts or whatever yeah, I think something bad should happen to you. That's horrible. That's horrible. That's a whole different thing, man. The amount of times that we get teachers that email in and they talk about like their, you know, the kids who they just do essays with like ChatGPT. Everything that they do is like with AI chatbots. I never read them because I don't know. I don't know what to say because they're shocking every time. They're just so shocking to me. Really interesting. I'm not reading them because they suck. They're just really interesting. I just don't have any other commentary other than like, wow, like these kids are just, wow. Crazy. You know, and it's always something with the hashtag kids, like, oh, this is going to fuck their brains. Right. Well, but what if you just turn thinking off? What if you just, you know what I mean? Like, what if you just turn thinking off? This shit about, I was watching like 60 Minutes or something, and they were talking about like the amount of like under 18 kids who have formed relationships with a chatbot, and like they've, you know, cultivated like personalities within the chat. Like, oh my God, crazy shit. Crazy shit. It's like the movie. It's like the damn. Oh, what's the Joaquin Phoenix movie? What's Her? Is it Her? Is that what that movie was? Yeah. It's basically just Her. copingoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically. Email available in the description wherever it is that you listen to this program. We got another update from Tom. I don't know how many more of these we're gonna do while Tom is on his like winter vacation in France. If you've missed the most recent updates, Bathroom Tom, aka Wizards fan Tom. Some of you may know him by his preferred nomenclature, Hot Tom. The outdoor cat correspondent is in France for the holidays with his French girlfriend and the French family. Like nobody's speaking English. He's speaking French to everybody. And we've been getting a cultural tap-ins, a cultural IV to what a French Christmas is like, what the French holidays are like. We have another update from Tom. Well, maybe we'll try to blow through this one kind of quick. Tom experienced New Year's Eve. I was able to skim this one, and I think there was some shenanigans in here. So, Tom, welcome back to the show, brother. Subject line, the outdoor cat correspondent, spooky hours, update number 3. That's right. There was another update there was 2 emails from Tom. I just had to read the most recent one because we can't do both of them, Tom. They're very, very long. Hey, Nick, just finished recovering from New Year's here in France. Writing from the same spot as always. So we did French New Year's And let's start by saying that it didn't go as planned. What I was informed would happen is that we would go to Victoria, that's his girlfriend, Victoria's uncle's place for appetizers, and then go to a small party her cousin was throwing for New Year's. Boy, was that false advertising. To begin, we got to the uncle's house very late, where we were met outside by her twin uncles. They have slight differences, including one having a beard, but they are otherwise identical. Well, that's actually really nice. If they could be identical if they want, but as long as one of them has a beard, then that's a pretty good way to, if one of them is Michael and one of them is Tom, you just say, okay, beard Michael. You know what I mean? Like whatever, but has a beard. Or if maybe their name was Ben, sometimes Ben Beard. I don't know. I feel like the beard actually helps a lot. Nightmare, scenario for sure. Identical twins, and am I gonna forget their names? You know what I mean? Or am I gonna call the wrong name? No, for sure, nightmare material for sure. Well, but one of them having a beard, I just think helps a lot. So let's get back to it. But they are otherwise identical. The existential fear of The existential fear of calling one uncle the wrong name was at an all-time high. They were very gracious and kind, and got me to have 3 whiskey cokes with them over the course of about 2 hours. 3 whiskey cokes in 2 hours. That's good pace. That's really, you know your body, and you were not being too ambitious, but you just kind of let it flow. 3 and 2. It's safe. It's a conservative pace. I think you could have done 4, and this still would have been true. 3's a great, respectable number. Really made sure that you were playing it safe. I admire that from you. Let's get back to it. Inside the house, I met the wives of the 2 uncles, one who I had already met and one who I hadn't. They speak literally no English. None. I immediately retreated to the couch for a bit to hang out with Victoria's dad and the 3rd uncle, who were smoking cigarettes at the fireplace and blowing the smoke up the chimney. Here he goes again with these French people, man. They smoking cigarettes at the holidays. We said in the last episode that shit would be so cool. Be so fun to be involved in that. Blowing it up a chimney, man. That's the most European shit I've ever heard. Blowing cigarette smoke up a chimney? Where in the United States are you going to find a real chimney? As a kid, I don't know how to say this because there are kids who listen to the show. It's about Christmas. I can't say it. It's so noble. I was really, as a kid, I had to find out. Like, I remember asking my parents so much as a kid, like, hey, we don't have a fireplace. Like, we don't have a chimney. Like, where does Santa come in the house? Like, where does he come in the house? And they're like, well, he uses the front door. And I was like, oh, okay. And so then my parents, they made it so that we would put you guys ever do reindeer food? It's just basically like mulch. You just throw it out in the yard. Who ended up eating that? I guess it would have been the reindeer, wouldn't it have been? It would have been the reindeer that ended up eating that. Yeah, we didn't have a chimney. I would always get so stressed out about it. These guys are blowing cigarette smoke up the damn chimney. That sounds awesome. All right. I clearly have no other commentary on that, I guess. I ran out of it. Let's get back to it. Smoking cigarettes at the fireplace, blowing it up the chimney. Her father helped me a lot to integrate myself with them, and that went rather smooth for having to talk about everything in French and not having the Victoria Lifeline to translate everything. Once we finished, I got big hugs and goodbyes from all. They went to have their pre-dinner smoke break. God damn, this is so cool. And we left for her cousin's small party. When we arrived, it was just her cousin, a few friends of hers, and a table that was set up with a lot of vodka and their version of Red Bull, which is actually a drink called Crazy Tiger in what can only be described as a 1 liter bottle, in 1 liter bottles, plural. I immediately said, isn't that a lot of alcohol for a few people? To which Victoria then informed me that it was going to be more akin to a high school house party. To be clear, it was 11 o'clock when we arrived. We were the first few people at the house, and I was already 3 whiskey cokes deep. There was absolutely nothing that could prepare me for what happened last night. As the people started to arrive, I realized that I had worn clothes meant to be proper for a family occasion, not a French New Year's party where people were showing up in Gucci sunglasses and Fashion Week outfits. I stuck out like a sore thumb, and people were looking at me and clearly asking who I was in French to others. Oh, fuck, man. I'll break it for a second. Oh, Tom, I can't even find the words. I'm disgusted. On your behalf, that sucks. That sucks. You can't even, what are you going to do? Fucking go home? You're 4,000 miles away. What's that flight? I don't even know how to, I couldn't even guess. Is it 12 hours? I don't even know how long that flight is. You know what I mean? You can't just go home. You're in a different country. Like that anxiety. What are you going to do? Go to the bathroom? You're still in a different country, man. And everybody here is like, oh, looking at you like, oh, fuck, man. Oh, I mean, at least you were drunk, I guess maybe if you're that might make it worse. I don't know. You've got to be in the right headspace. How could you possibly be in the right headspace? Let's get back to it. Clearly asking who I was in French to others. I immediately downed a vodka orange juice and started to fill another when I made an attempt to talk to some people. It went okay, but a few of them were definitely not nice people given the situation. That's just the French, man. I'm telling you, that's just the French. The pieces of fucking shit, bro. They're not nice people. They're not nice. They're not nice. Your girlfriend sounds so lovely. She really sounds like a nice woman. Every time you talk about interactions that you have with her, well, interactions, like she's your girlfriend, bro. But like, I don't know. Anytime she's brought up, like she sounds like a very thoughtful person. She sounds like a very sweet woman. And I think she pushed back when I brought this up. Like, I just think they're all fucking mean. Like, they're all just pieces of shit, man. They're all just mean, and they saw you in a bad situation, and nobody was like, oh, like, nobody wanted to fucking help you out. I mean, I don't know. I'm just criticizing human nature. Because what? If you were in America, people wouldn't have done this exact thing? Well, it would have been different. I don't know. Like, yeah, some people would have, but like anywhere in the world that you go, people would have done this. I'm just saying the stereotype, it's just people hating America, bro. That's what this was. This is anti-American. That's what this was about. They didn't care that you were wearing different clothes. They cared that you were American. Tom, I could have hooked you up. These sunglasses that I'm wearing right now while we tape the show are Tom Ford. Actually, I can show you this case right here. Tom Ford. I'm sorry this happened to you, Tom. Let's get back to the email. I started to talk with some of the guys. Wait, okay. After finding a spot by a table, I started to talk with some of the guys there and made a few friends while getting drunk. When New Year's Eve hit, I immediately found Victoria. You say when New Year's Eve hit. I think you're saying like when the ball dropped or whatever they do over there. When the cheese dropped in the wine wheel or whatever the fuck. When New Year's Eve hit, I immediately found Victoria for the kiss, and we had a good moment or two while realizing we had both gotten drunk. Very cute. It was at this point I made two good acquaintances who were cool and talked with me for a good hour until asking if I wanted some alcohol from Madagascar. Fully prepared to be robbed, I went to their car, and the guy actually pulled out a bottle, and we all had a drink. Very alcoholic. This comprised what I would guess to have been my 8th or 9th drink of the night. They were cool and continued to be nice throughout the night. I stuck by Victoria and realized it was 2 a.m. and I hadn't eaten anything besides appetizers. As more time passed, I met a few cool guys. How much longer is this email, Tom? We're almost there. Okay. That's okay. I just needed to make sure, Tom. You're doing great. I just needed to make sure. All right. It's 2 a.m. and I hadn't eaten anything besides appetizers. As more time passed, I met a few cool guys and was talking intermittently while waiting to get the let's go from Victoria. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the drunkest I've ever been in my life and 1 being slightly buzzed, we had reached a solid 7 to 8. The hours passed and we had finally started to get ready to leave. I had gotten to an 8 or 9 and weirdly saw the fiance and cousin for a moment before they went to sleep. We left around 3:30 and passed out after we got back. Overall, I got so drunk that was great. The people were a mixture of nice and a few who were not so nice. It was fun, but scary as hell, and ultimately I did well overall. I've been in a vegetative state all day recovering. Best wishes and happy new year. Tom, overall, I just feel like it's kind of like a net positive experience. Well, no, not really. I mean, you did kind of have you had some shitty experiences, and pretty much everywhere that you were, actually, so it wasn't totally net positive. I think you'll look back on all of it ultimately as a net positive experience, just because you've spent, I think you were on like a cruise or something last Christmas emailing again. I swear that's how that happened. Maybe it was 2 years ago. I don't remember. So you've been out of the country before, I swear, on Christmas. but memorable in its own way. You haven't seen your girlfriend in however many months, and so I really, Tom, I don't have much to say. It's just fun to hear about this, dude. It's just fun to hear about it. I don't know if the audience cares as much as I do. We've never heard anybody be like, "Stop the bathroom Tom segments." I did. This is funny. I should mention this. I saw my dad a couple days before Christmas. And I was mentioning something. I was like, yeah, I got this email from this guy and blah, blah, blah. I was saying something. He goes, oh, yeah, hot Tom. I was like, that's right. So they know, folks. They know the characters of the show. Tom, my dad knows who you are. I was mentioning some guy who emailed into the show. He's like, oh, yeah, hot Tom. Yes. Yes, these characters are knowable. They are recurring. And Tom, thank you for the email. Hey, folks, you want to end with this? We'll end with this. So as a teaser for what we'll do, if it's not in the next episode, it'll be 2 episodes from now. The new year has officially started. All right. Now that means that we can well, first of all, it means that the 2026 bingo sheet is coming. That's what's going to happen within the next episode or 2, right? But now that I'm taping this on New Year's Day, this is January. I'm taping this on the 1st of January, 2026. All right. So that means the bingo sheet that we did a year ago for 2025 is officially done. The ballots have closed. It's over. How did we do? Now, longtime listeners of the show may have noted, may have been hashtag noticing. We haven't talked about this motherfucker at all. We have not brought up the bingo sheet. I don't think since we did it, which is different from how we did it the year before, where all year we were kind of monitoring it, right? And we even ended up getting a bingo, right? Now, naturally, you want to wait a few months. You don't want to be breathing down the bingo sheet's neck. Just give the year some time to be the year. But I checked it a little bit. My birthday's in June, so the halfway point of the year, right? It's June 16th. So it's in the middle of the middle month of the year. But perfectly in the middle of the whatever, right? I hadn't checked it since before my birthday. And I was doing so poorly then that I was like, whatever. And I punted on the whole thing. Now, I'm not going to put it up on the screen. When we do the bingo sheet for 2026, I'll put it up on the screen. We'll do a whole visual aid. I will just tell you right now, we did not get a bingo. But I reviewed it, and we did do a lot better than I thought. So again, not going to put it up on the screen. I'll just read you the bingo sheet from 2025, just trying to predict stuff that's going to happen in the year. What did we accurately predict? I'll just read them to you very quickly. We always put the first card on the bingo sheet. You're allowed to give yourself some easy ones. It doesn't all have to be the hardest shit in the world. Well, we always do someone famous dies. Well, there we go. Free space, basically. Somebody famous did die. As a little teaser for the 2026 bingo sheet, we will be doing something different with that one. We will finally, for the third installation of the bingo sheet, we will be changing someone famous dies to I'm calling my damn shot. I will be calling my shot. But we did get that one right. Another one that we got right. The new Wes Anderson movie debuting at 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. It debuted at 97%, as a matter of fact. The Phoenician Scheme. So we got that one right. That feels good. I like that. Google gets hit with a surveillance lawsuit. Yeah, that happened a while ago, almost a year ago. It's basically it might have been while we were recording the bingo sheet that episode that was happening. That happened in the beginning of the year. I don't remember anything about how it played out, but yeah, Google did get sued in a surveillance lawsuit for sure. Another CEO gets assassinated. Yes, that did happen a couple times. You just look up CEO assassinated. You'll find a bunch of shit. Who's the most famous CEO that got assassinated? I don't know if they were a CEO, but you guys remember the whole thing about the guy who was like, oh, I went into the NFL building to kill Roger Goodell because I have CTE. But he went into the wrong building. He went into the wrong, office park or whatever the fuck. And so he didn't go in. Remember that whole thing? And the NFL just kind of fell on the whole thing. It was yep, that was us. They tried to kill Roger Goodell. They tried to kill NFL employees because he had CTE. That's what happened. But the person that he actually killed, I don't know, was working for fucking BlackRock or something. And it was buying up a bunch of Section 8 housing and turning it into 8-ball pool houses or something. I don't know. I don't know. And that guy's mom got kicked out of a house that woman had bought up. And so he went in there and shot her. Yeah. That happened. I mean, that was a thing that happened this year. I don't remember if she was a CEO or not, but yeah, I mean, that happened. So we got that right. I wrote something weird involving the JFK files. Yeah, some got released. That's true. I mean, hey, some JFK files did get released. They released JFK files. They released MLK files. They released some Epstein shit that right now that's like kind of coming out a little bit. Yeah, we've gotten some stuff. What was the weird thing that happened? We didn't learn that much. The stuff that we learned had nothing to do with JFK. It was all basically about the Cuban Missile Crisis, which, is indirectly related to JFK, but has nothing to do with his assassination. So it was like stuff about the Cuban Missile Crisis, stuff about clandestine operations, like spying operations in Russia, or them talking about shit going on in Vietnam or China, maybe a little bit of Mexico. And that was it. Something weird that happened? I don't know. Just that they got released. Some stuff, new information did come out. Just nothing that was interesting as it related to the assassination. So something weird did still happen, though. Foreign object invades American airspace again. Yeah, I just gave myself that one. It has happened at some point. It's fucking happened. I don't remember. Nothing pops into my mind immediately. We didn't have any big weather balloons that, go off the coast of North Carolina and the F-15s fucking flying, shoot it out of the sky. Didn't have anything like that this year. The drones that were flying over like the East Coast and like New Jersey and stuff, I don't know if that bled into the new year. Maybe it did, but that's also why we would have written about this in the first place or put this up. But it happened at some point this year, So I'm just going to give it to me. I wrote Taylor and Travis get engaged. Nice. That did happen. Cool. I got that one. Nice. Maybe sort of the challenge difficulty on that one. Medium. Seemed like if it was going to happen, it was probably going to happen this year. You would have thought. I mean, I say that doesn't really. Why did I feel like that was true? I don't know. I was fucking right about it though. So they got engaged. Here's another one I didn't know if it counted. I wrote military presence on Ivy League campus. Kinda. I'm going to get, by the way, I didn't get a bingo. So if I give myself one, it doesn't matter. Like maybe if it does for the sake of the points, but, what am I talking about? Well, the guy that was just going around shooting people on the campus of Brown, killed some fucker and then went into the burbs and killed like a nuclear fission scientist or something. Huh? And guess who showed up? The feds. Like real serious military dudes. They showed up on an Ivy League campus. Brown, ever heard of it? I just think that counts. Even if you rewind the tape and when I said this originally, maybe I was talking about some sort of a protest just by nature of, Trump's the president. Well, surely that ended up happening anyways. Surely it did. With all the bullshit that he was doing that Trump was doing to like Harvard and I don't know, all these other Ivy League schools. Deportation shit, although I guess deportation stuff didn't really happen. Did it really happen in places where it was ICE? Did they really have an established presence in any Ivy League campus? I don't think so. So why would there be? I don't know. But this happened at some point this year. It happened, and I think the Brown thing counts. It counts. That's a military. It's a law enforcement military presence on an Ivy League campus. That counts. Two more that I got right. Angelina Jolie has another moment. Yeah, I don't know what it was, though, but it happened. It happened. I remember one of you guys specifically, one person emailed about it. And I think it was around the time, because whatever it was, it happened for sure. But it would have been around the time that, all this court stuff comes out about her and Brad Pitt, and we learn all this stuff about just how terrible he's been and how brutal and evil he has seemingly been to both Angelina Jolie and their children. And some of these occurrences, altercations that have occurred on a private jet. It sounds like a really harsh guy. Doesn't mean I'm going to stop watching his movies, but he sounds like a bad guy. Doesn't sound like a very nice man. And so Angelina Jolie kind of had like a week or two of pap walks where everybody was like, yes, girl. Like, oh my gosh, look at how stunning she is. Like, she doesn't need Brad, type shit. So that happened. And then the last one that I got right was that Vladimir Putin has Parkinson's, parenthetically, again. What I mean by this is it's once a year at least that some media outlet, no matter how crackpot or credible or otherwise, somebody says he's got Parkinson's. And then they'll show a video of him. It's a wide angle of him like gripping the leg of a table, or he's got his leg wrapped around the leg of a table, or his hand, he's gripping the side of a table or like underneath it. You know, people zoom in, enhance. He's trying to hide his tremor. Pull up. You know, people fall for it every time. I've fallen for it before. Did that happen this year? Fucking probably. Google it. I won't. I'm not going to look it up, but it happened. Somebody said it because it happens every year. Every year. They say he's got Parkinson's. They say he's got damn ALS. I don't know if there's anybody funnier in the world that could get ALS than Vladimir Putin. Oh my God, could you imagine? Well, that's not true. The funniest person to get, look, you don't want to wish something like ALS on anybody. That's truly one of the most horrible things that can happen to a person. Just devastating. But it's Vladimir Putin, bro. So, like, who's somebody that it would be funny if they suffered from a massively degenerative disease that just completely, I mean, it just melts your body. It literally just melts your body. We all read Tuesdays with Morrie. Fucking hate Mitch Albom. Fucking hack. I really don't think he's a good guy. It's a good book. It's a great story, but isn't it also not true? I don't want to do the whole is it not true thing. Well, it's true to some extent, and all books are embellished. I don't want to do this. I don't like Mitch Albom as a sports writer. Let me just say that. As a sports writer, as somebody who grew up reading Mitch Albom, because I'm a Detroit sports guy, I've always fucking hated that guy. And so the whole Tuesdays with Morrie thing, I remember being like, this is the same guy who did the sports thing? I had no idea. Couldn't stand that guy. Funniest guy that could get ALS. It wouldn't be like funny if Kim Jong-un got it. Like, what's funny about it? You know, everybody in his subjects like see him as this like supreme example of like fitness and like cool and like vibes and like aura and shit. And so to watch that guy like turn into like a pumpkin by like what a pumpkin looks like when it's November 15th. You know what I mean? That's what Kim Jong-un would look like 6 months into ALS. I mean, would it be funny? It'd be fucked up, man. That shit is man, it's crazy. I don't know that I would think it's funny if anybody got it. Who's the worst? Got Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel can get that shit and fucking twice. He could get it twice. Peter Thiel, I feel fine saying that. Although, I don't... Why would I do that? Why would I say that the guy who is this in the single, most powerful position when it comes to privately owned surveillance technologies, why would I say into any microphone or any camera, I hope that he gets ALS? Why? I don't know what that guy can. That guy can probably inject ALS through my fucking headphones, bro. These sunglasses aren't even smart sunglasses. They're not the damn Meta sunglasses. They're not the Meta Ray-Bans. They're just regular Tom Ford. But he's still gonna infect my balls with radiation. So all that stuff we were talking about at the beginning, when I'm like, one day we'll have another kid. Fuck no, because I said that I think Peter Thiel should get ALS. And my grandma's not going to know who Peter Thiel is. And she's going to be like, Nicholas, this is so not funny to, wish ALS on anybody. Grandma, if Hitler was alive and I said that he should get ALS, you would be like, that's valid. You'd be like, I agree with that. If anybody should get it, it should be Hitler. Well, if we can go biblical, Peter Thiel is like the actual Antichrist. Peter Thiel is probably the single most, I say probably, the PayPal Mafia guys are crazy, man. Elon is like the most publicly facing, like, James Bond. He's not even Elon Musk is not a James Bond villain. He's a damn Adam West Batman villain. Peter Thiel, I think, is the closer one to like a Bond villain. Elon Musk is like if you don't want to do Adam West Batman villain, you could do Austin Powers villain. There you go. It's like Dr. Evil, bro. Honestly, yeah. If Austin Powers was made today, I think that Dr. Evil actually would be a ketamine addicted, like porn addicted, fucking whatever Elon is, like alien, like whatever Elon is. Yeah, actually, they don't even look that different, by the way. If Elon had a shaved head, you put him next to Dr. Evil, they don't even look that different. They really don't. So Peter Thiel, fuck you, bro. I hope you do get ALS. Honestly, I hope you do get fucking ALS, you piece of shit. Trying to own the world. Trying to make it so our brains are fucking are like vapes for aliens or some shit. Trying to make it. Peter Thiel wants our brains to be vapes for a damn computer so he can mine damn Bitcoin with it. I don't know. I could tell a bee was trying to come out. I'm like, what am I trying to say? Bitcoin came out. Sure, he's trying to vape our brains with computers and wires to turn that into a damn Bitcoin, and then you buy the world's reserve, and the dollar isn't backed by gold, it's backed by man, I've talked about this before, and there are some things I say on this show, I say them until somebody says anything about it, until somebody gives me even the tiniest bit of pushback, right? And this is one of those things. We got a little bit of gold. Right? You know why? Because they tell you, hey, if anything's going to happen, just make sure you got a little bit of gold, okay? So I know that pretty much everybody out there, it might be the people who are listening, like it might be you, the person listening to this. Everybody knows somebody who's got a lot of gold, okay? Somebody's always like this. Oh, you got to buy gold. Oh, well, when the fucking Civil War breaks out, when that EMP hits, shit goes dark. You know, we start trading like caveman. Well, I'm just like, if shit is like left for real, like if it's completely sideways and the country's dark for like a week or like who knows until we start, hurling shit at each other. Well, in the scenario where like, money is no longer like a tangible thing that matters at all. And they say to keep your gold for like transactions in like why would that have any value at all to anybody? Why is that the de facto currency in the event that shit is so bad that money doesn't, that cash, the American dollar is just devalued completely? I feel like as a society, we would be so ape brained about it that currency is like seeds and water and like ammunition. Give a fuck about gold. What the hell am I going to do with this? I can't eat this. This isn't going to protect me. I don't, which I guess maybe it would. Maybe it'll get you out of a pinch if you find another motherfucker that be collecting gold. But like the people around me who, I don't know, if I go a half a mile south of where I am right now, there are a lot of motherfuckers that like don't have that much, and if I hand them a Costco fucking ounce of gold, what the shit? What are they gonna do with that? I don't know. What am I? Prove me wrong. I'm Steven Crowder right now. Gold is for suckers. Gold is for suckers. Silver's going up right now. It's crazy. It's crazy. They say invest in minerals. They say invest in metals, not minerals. Invest in metals. You should. I don't know why you should. I just don't know why you should. We got it. We do. But I'm not too sure. I don't know why we do. Other than it's what you're supposed to do. They say invest in stocks. I say that makes sense. Everybody needs money. If you feel like it makes sense. I don't need it explained to me why, as an adult, you should have a 401k. You should have a retirement fund, something that I don't know what the numbers on it would be, but I would wager like the amount of people who do versus don't, like the amount of like, I don't know, 60-year-olds who have nothing in savings the number wouldn't surprise me. It would be probably devastating, but it wouldn't be surprising no matter what it is, because you can't at this point anymore. Going all over the road with this one. Were we still doing the bingo thing? Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me finish up on that bingo thing really quick. Cause the only thing, we finished all of them. The closest that we got on an actual bingo was, so we got someone famous dies. We got the Angelina Jolie has another moment and Putin has Parkinson's again. It would have been a bingo if LeBron had announced that this would be his final season, that 25-26 was going to be his final season. If he said that, and if Tom Holland and Zendaya got pregnant, it also would have been. And if both of those things happened, it would have been a bingo. Damn, we just missed that one. What's another one that we missed? I think there was maybe one or two that we got close with. The only other one that we were 2 away on was Putin has Parkinson's again. Foreign object invades American airspace. Something weird involving the JFK files. Those 3 things happened. We needed Trump to break up with RFK. That did not happen. Didn't happen. To their credit, it didn't happen. And if anything, if they sort of leaned into each other. It doesn't really seem like that. I don't know. We'll see. And then the other thing we needed to have happen was that Cooper Flagg needed to be a Pelican. Damn it. Well, he's a good Maverick, though. Alrighty, folks, that's it. We'll do the 2026 bingo sheet again, hopefully in the next episode. Seems like a good thing for me to do over the weekend. It's just to hammer out the bingo sheet. So we'll focus on that. I think there was like 100 other things I wanted to talk about today, but that'll do it, folks. Nice little start to your new year. Hope you guys all had a safe holiday. Now we got to get back to work. Y'all got to start getting back to school here pretty soon, although it's the weekend. So once this weekend's over, y'all better start getting back to school. Alrighty, folks. Spotify. What is it? You can put your shots up if you want something on the. Something's going on with the Spotify, and they're just like not showing up in the feed. Are you guys also seeing that? They're uploading. I swear to God, I'm uploading them on my end. They're uploaded. This is happening again. Spotify. If you want to, throw some shots up for if you want to see something on the 2026 bingo sheet, maybe I'll tweak it or something. I'll just give you that. Apple Podcasts. What's up? If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, nice little comment for the algorithm. Make sure to keep primary control in check. And I will catch you guys in the next one.
Primary control.